Alright fellas, today I'm going to show you how to get your own belt into 22. It's a much easier process now. So first of all, you want to find a belt that you wish to replace or use as a base. In this case I'm using Up Up Down Down Championship, which is 137. I've gone into Cake Tools and I've extracted them into a folder here. Once you've done that, open Blender. Make sure you have your belt open, visible. Make sure you've also installed Hanley's MDL tools or the scripts. Once you've done that, go to File, Import MDL22, select the default. And the reason I'm using default for this tutorial is I figured out how to sort the position alignment, and I'll show that at the end of the video. And default is the only one that does this. So import, and you might see the rotational issues. Default uses it on this axis. What's the other one called? Cutscene is also a different angle, and the ladder one is completely wrapped around in like a sphere. Very easy to do. You just in Blender just rotate the belt the way you want it to. It wants to do it. There we go. You need to also make sure that the strap is level, because that's the most important part. The rest is just irrelevant. So first of all, you want to go to where you imported the belt, and you'll see a whole stack of different sections. This is for the creator belt system. Since this is a custom belt, we don't really need to do any of this. So you can select from 1 to 5, delete, depending on how many stacks there are, but make sure you keep the default one, which is the strap. Alright, so once you have this, we need to do a couple of things. You need to go over to the I forgot what it's called, the object data properties, and you'll see that the data block is called base. I always make sure to call it this in my belt, just because otherwise I've come into issues where the plugin sort of crashes if I don't do this. I don't know if it's just to do with me, but I do it on the safe side. The UVs can be, I like to do this, I don't know if it's necessary. I'll take the UV name from the imported belt and I'll change that on my belt. So one thing to remember is whatever you name the mesh here is what the game will look for in texture wise. So how that is called belt, in game it's gonna look for belt color, belt metal, belt normal, belt NRM, which is normal, roughness and metallic, and belt roughness. The reason they're separated like this, the metal, normal and roughness are for the creator belt. The NRM is for the actual in-game model. For some reason they separate them, but this is 2K after all, so who knows. This tutorial assumes that you've already done the textures for your belts and exported them. There is a tutorial on the PWM wiki for this. Very easy to follow. Anyway, back to Blender. So I want to take this name and replace it with mine. You'll see that the old belt gets renamed. It's fine. So now this is the tricky part. So we click the imported belt, control, click our belt, go over here to the top left and click weight paint, weights, transfer weights, rear radius to 5, source layer select by name, vertex mapping, nearest face interpolated. You can use other ones here depending on the results you get, but I prefer nearest face interpolated. Once that's done, you're basically already finished. Click your custom belt, select the skeleton by control clicking, right click, parent, object, and then you can just drag it onto the skeleton. you'll see that it's inside the skeleton now. Select your custom belt, go over to the modifiers, add a modifier, armature, object, skeleton. So you're basically selecting this skeleton. Now that that's done, you can get rid of that. Select your belt, file, export, MDL, whatever location you want it to be. So I'll take the name for that, go up one, and save it here. That's basically it done. So now what you're going to need for this process is a hex editor. I use HXD. Open your exported MDL in the hex editor and open the default one that you extracted earlier. And if you scroll down, you'll see this. Now, if your MDL does not include this, the belt will sort of be positioned really strange on the wrestler. It'll like fly off and look strange. It's because it doesn't have an attach point. The script doesn't add this, so we need to manually do this for now. So what you need to do is find the ATPT, go back 4 bytes, and then go all the way down until you see MTL, and then copy just until you hit the MTL. So now you've got that. Copy, go over to your exported MTL, and you'll see where it says MTL here. Delete the 4 bytes, right click, paste, insert. Now once you've done that, just hit save. What you have done is you have inserted the attachment point into your custom belt. So now that when you put this in game, it will attach on the character's shoulders perfectly. So once you've got the exported mesh, copy, or you could have done this manually, take it over to your mods folder, belts, whatever the belt is that you replaced, paste, done. Now we bake. And there we go.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Cobb County, Georgia, weighing in at 350 pounds, the Up-Up-Down.
So obviously you can see I haven't finished the textures for this belt, but the placement and everything's fine.